We're joined now by Moriah Balingit, a reporter covering national education issues for The Washington Post, and Liz Willen, editor-in-chief of the Hechinger Report. Among the many things that educators and parents will have to decide in the next few months is how they'll attempt to make up the gap for students who missed out on learning consistently throughout the academic school year. So is summer school the right answer, or does that feel cruel for students who spent the last year in educational limbo? I'm still here with Liz Willen, editor-in-chief of the Hechinger Report. Liz, one of your reporters at the Hechinger Report recently published a piece on whether or not summer school is the answer to help students make up for lost school time. So what does research tell us about whether or not summer school would help with improving reading and math levels?
You know, it's so interesting. First thing you said about summer school being cruel. I once spent a couple of months in the summer following one summer school student in New York City. And, you know, the teachers don't want to be there. The kids don't want to be there. So overall, it's always felt sort of punitive. But Jill Barchet, who does our Proof Points column every week and looks at education research, did found something really interesting. Everyone's focusing right now on that summer school is going to, you know, it's common sense, right? It's going to make up for all the months that students lost during the coronavirus time. And everyone is pushing for schools to stay open this summer. Governors, even the teachers union. But there's a problem. The research studies are showing us that summer school often is punitive, doesn't accomplish its purpose of raising reading achievement or math, and they're not necessarily very effective. So it looks like it should help, but we see a lot of mixed research on this, and overall, a lot of feeling that it isn't beneficial.
And there was $1.2 billion set aside for summer schools in the last COVID relief package. So is there something else that you think schools might need more urgently?
Yeah, researchers are really pointing to something called high dosage tutoring. It's a term that you're going to hear a lot of lately. And that's kind of a different way of approaching it. It's far more individual. It's not like once a week homework help. It's actually using tutors who are specially trained and coached, and they stick to a detailed curriculum. They work with one or two students at a time. These are the kind of results that can occur, you know, either during the ordinary school day, or they're saying if you're going to do this during the summer, then also make it a little more fun for kids, you know, some pizza parties and some trips and a lot of outdoor time. But these kids have been indoors for a year.
Yeah. And I mean, back to that cruel word, I mean, does it feel cruel to expect kids to spend the summer learning via Zoom or even in person after this incredibly difficult year of learning?
Zoom, impossible. I really don't think you're going to get any kid in the slightest bit excited about spending more time on Zoom, or any more parents. I mean, in person, I think there are ways it can be done with this high dosage tutoring, with a different approach, with more outdoor time. If all of the vaccines are really happening as we're hearing in the next couple of weeks and days, it should be a completely different situation by the time summer comes around. But it also is super important to look at the research, that a lot of efforts, a lot of the research is showing initial gains that you get from extra summer school instruction are going to disappear by the next spring. And that's not small research. It's conducted in 5 cities, Boston, Dallas, Jacksonville, Florida, Pittsburgh, and Rochester, by researchers at RAND. And I think that's important to look at that, because in this study, 20% of kids never even showed up for summer school. And the kids who did come skipped an average of 1 out of every 4 days. Other kids skipped more, and there were only a fraction of benefits seen from students who attended faithfully even for 2 summers in a row. So what they did find, though, that I think is really interesting and instructive and might help us this summer going forward, is that programs that resembled camp and had sports and arts, even though they didn't have any better attendance, but if you gave parents prizes for families, like supermarket gift cards and treats for kids, pizza and ice cream, all of those things helped. And I think the outdoor programs and times definitely make it more palatable to kids if you add in the high dosage tutoring.